One, two, three. We don't welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks. Where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad, and we have Hantie. All right, she just woke up. That's all right. She still looks pretty. So does my mom and dad. Dad, you look handsome. Mom, you look pretty too.
Oh,
all right. Just to let her, everybody looking good.
We're glad to be tonight too.
I'd rather be handsome than pretty.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Pretty handsome.
So today, you guys lived through the civil rights from the 50s and 60s, the turbulent 60s, and through the 70s as the transition came about. In your opinion, how far have we really come? Because you got to see a black president in your lifetime.
That's correct.
What are your thoughts on today's civil rights?
We might be slipping back from where we were.
We've come a long way, but it seems like we're going backwards now. Because I was really shocked when I watched a documentary about that armored unit, the 761st Armored Unit that was black, of how they fought for their country, and they fought day and night and just went out, fought and fought and fought, and came back to discrimination after fighting for their country. And how it took 30 years later that they finally got their medals. Many of them died.
Yeah.
Got their medals.
You know, I'm going to jump back. I'm going to step ahead, I should say, to this week when those 3 soldiers got killed in that other over there in that Jordan or wherever it was. Do you know that when the news came out, they would not show who the people are, who they were? They just said 3 people, and it took 3 days for them to post their pictures for us to know that they were the same color as we were. So I don't know whether it was done purposely, not to tell us from the very.
Or maybe they were trying to notify the families.
Out of respect.
They want to get the families first before they usually, and that's what's supposed to happen. But you know how sometimes
it took 3 or 4 days for them to post their pictures. So I don't know with modern technology. I don't know why it took them so long to contact the parents of these kids.
Well, I think that a lot of times it's protocol, because 6 people that died in South Bend in a fire, the 6 children died in a fire. It took them a little while before we actually saw their pictures.
And I believe they were mixed.
They were.
So they probably had to contact the first of kin, and then after they did that, then it's out of respect that they do it generally.
Right, because it would be so embarrassing for a news agency to let you know your child is dead before you were notified by the proper authorities.
Okay, well then
then we got that. But Hantie, what are your thoughts on that? On where we at? How far have we come with civil rights?
I'm always thinking about something else, but it still has to do with civil rights. And I thought about how my father, he talked about. I don't think he used the name civil rights. He always alluded to, a black man, or why can't you treat me like you treat everybody else, and I'm not sure whether the name civil rights came out in 1955, 56.
Came out in the 60s.
It was in the 60s.
I believe it was.
Yeah, and so when I say I was thinking about something else, I was thinking about how my father always complained, and you remind me, Todd, of some of your not complaining, but labeling what is happening today. My father labeled what was happening years ago. He was born in the hills of Kentucky, and there was no forward march, if you will, to him, still treating him like he was on the plantation. So now you move forward to 1955, 56, and he's still complaining. So we move from there and we label it as civil rights. Because, at last we as Black people have awakened and noticed that we're not treated the same. We can speak about it, and you're not going to put me in handcuffs. So this is what you all are doing to us, and I want you to know it. No, they're not gonna hang you like Emmett Till and burn your body and all of that. But it feels like it sometimes.
Well, yeah, Mom.
I can tell you that I feel like the civil rights started in the 60s because when I was 13 years old in 1958, I might have cited this little story before, when we took a family trip down to Louisiana, leaving Michigan, heading down south, not realizing that the South was way behind us up here in the North because they still had colored drinking fountains and colored and
restrooms,
eating
gas stations.
And so that's the reason why I say that when Martin Luther King, when he took hold of the reins, I believe it was in 1960, because they took his life in 1968. So, he didn't have a whole lot of time to promote civil rights and equal treatment, but he did get his point across in his speeches.
Yes, he did.
I surely love those speeches, and I'm glad that they still play them. And my hope is that this country will look back and see what this man accomplished in his short time of life. And incidentally, one of his sons, Dexter, passed away this week.
Well, I think one of the hardest things is that seeing what you guys have gone through, and seeing how history repeats itself. People were trying to make us feel uncomfortable in settings. You can go to certain places and they can make you feel out of place, like you don't belong here. Like, why are you doing here? Shop and get out. That's one of the reasons why the malls and a lot of places have closed, because, we're just treated differently, right? We're treated unfairly. And when we talk about that, people say, no, you're treated the way you're supposed to be treated. Those are things that are disturbing, because, at the end of the day, people forget in our Constitution, when Nikki Haley's talking about there's no racism, called 3/4 of a human being in writing from the Constitution. So obviously she doesn't know her Constitution, even though she was governor of South Carolina. So I hope that she raises the level of her education to really learn that racism has always been built into this country. It's the foundation of this country, unfortunately. Now we're trying to get a
foundation.
Yeah, we're trying to get, and it's original sin. This is chattel slavery. This is not even the slavery, biblical slavery that people are trying to throw out there. This is treating someone not even a human being, and we're all created in the image of God. And so that's the first part that you have a problem with, and it's a form of how do I say it? Idol worship. You think that you're a god and everybody else has to worship you. Very dangerous. You're on a level there that's very, very dangerous when you think like that. And the Bible even warns that if you think you're better than somebody else, there's a problem with that. And so I think the real deal is, go ahead, Hantie.
No, I was thinking as you were talking that I believe that what was started years ago with the slavery, and then it moved on. Sophistication has moved along with it. So we have different names for the same kind of treatment.
Correct.
Yeah. That's the way I see it as I travel on, and I'm thinking,
And people say that, we're animals, we act like animals. Well, when you put people in a situation with no value system. Because remember, we used to have a value system that united us as a race, which was Christianity, God.
Mm-hmm.
Blacks, white, didn't matter who you are, and we had a common level to talk about. But now that people don't believe in God, or whatever their state is with relationship with God, or whatever God you want to make up in your life, we have no commonality that we can both all come together on some type of ground here, or some type of value system. And even in Germany, they were fighting, they were so-called the race, whatever. Well, in Stalingrad, one of the stories was put out there that when a dude was killed, these guys cut out their fellow soldier's heart and ate it.
Oh yeah.
They behaved like animals. So anybody without any morals can go to some state that you don't go into. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we really have a more moral dilemma here in this country, that people want to misuse the Bible, want to misuse things for their own agenda. And that's not what the Bible's for. It's supposed to look at our own selves and change our hearts to have the heart of God in us. And I think that's the sad part about it. That's why
which is hard. That's hard.
The only reason why I bring up racism is try to save my brothers and sisters so that they don't go to hell.
Right.
Because you can't go to heaven hating your brother, looking down on him. Sorry. It's just, I can show you scripture after scripture about that. It's just not going to happen. And I want you to be there with me. So that's why I bring it up to you, so that we can all be saved. It's a love thing, not a hate thing. I'm not trying to take your kids. I'm not trying to take your house. I'm not trying to do anything. I want us all to get there together and love one another. And it starts with us being down here.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And
can we just all get along?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become economic racism too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, maybe the story of my nephew that had a far better product than his competitors, and the client said that, well, I know you have a better product, but I'm going to give it to my friend.
Yeah.
My friend, because we've been friends for a long time. Now, my friend was a white person.
But Dad, he didn't say it like that. He says, I want to give it to one of our own.
Our own, yeah.
It wasn't even a friend thing. See, a friend, I can understand a friend thing, but when the statement is, I want to give it to one of our own.
That separates it right now.
Yeah.
That's definitely racist.
So I'm not even going to get an opportunity, even though I'm trying to help both of us out, give you a better product, better service, make your company grow, my company grow at the same time. We'll just ignore that because it's about economics.
Mm-hmm. And when Mona and I were looking for a house to buy in Niles, Michigan, we went to I guess he was a salesman or a realtor, and he suggested that we go out.
He was a realtor.
He was a realtor. That we look at a house in our black area, Detroit Road or North Fifth. And here I am, a school teacher, and Myrna, at the time, she was you worked for the school system?
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. And we had perfect credentials.
Credit, everything.
Credit rating was high and everything. But he made a statement that maybe you folks may want to look at another area, not this area. And lo and behold, once we got our loan together and purchased the house, he was our next door neighbor.
And let's understand, there's some great people out there that will do the right thing despite what's going on. But you got a lot of wrong people. I mean, the fact you still have discrimination in housing. If I sold my house, it's not going to be the same as my white neighbors, even though we're next door.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not going to sell because of black. I mean, this is crazy. This is insanity. And all we want to do is live here. Like I tell people, last I checked, I don't have an address to go or a place to go because you took it all and stole it all. I don't even know the language that my ancestors even talked in. So, when you say go back to Africa, I got no place to go.
At one point,
I want you to think about that. Go try to find my address where I'm at. I dare someone. Just find the address where I came from. So I can at least go back. You can't find it. I'm sorry. Try it. I didn't come on a boat. The boat I came on was a slave ship. We didn't have no address. We didn't have no anything. This is history real history, and you tell me that there's no racism here in this country? It was
We
always here in this country.
at one point in time we wanted to sell the house that we bought, our first home. And when we had people coming in to look at the house, we actually had to take all the pictures down off the wall so that those coming in to wanting to see the house and look at it would not get see that, oh, Black people live here. But that's what we do. That is what we had to do in the 80s when we wanted to sell.
And Mom, it's still going on. I sold my house on 10 years ago. I have friends selling it for $50,000 more. And the lady told me, Todd, you're not going to be able to get that. But I said, wait a second. The housing market's shooting up. I should be able, my house is in good shape. But this is how the systematic racism continues
trying to hold you back.
And it's just always like that. And so when you try to bring it out for equality so that we can just live, it really bothers people because they're thinking that, hey, no, it shouldn't be fair. And that's the sad part about it is, I guess we went way over the time frame that we have over here. But because we got next week to also talk about this, but the reality is
got all month.
Yeah, we got all month. Is that
you have part 1 and part 2?
Yeah, part 2. Yeah, because we have more. Because Uncle Frank, was a civil rights advocate for the government before they took that spot away, and I wish that they would have kept it. But people are trying to say things are equal. Well, you know what? You see all these people scared of me, hating me, and I have done nothing to you. I haven't done anything to you. When I just show up. I'm not up there trying to be a thug. I'm not up there trying to do anything, not even mean mug you. So, folk, as we close out today, let's try to make a better place. And
yes,
when you have that hatred in your heart, just know I'm not trying to throw hate back at you. I'm trying to throw love back at you so you can be saved, because you can't make it to the kingdom. And if that offends you, I hope you have a chance to read your Bible and really understand what it really means. To not look down on one another for any reason. Any reason. We're all dirt. That's why creation is so important to be taught. Anyway, I hope you all got spiritually filled today. Hope you got discussion today. Till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks.
All right.